Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where I'll work with you step by step through each of the ABRSM Theory grades. And we get into the end now of Grade 3 Music Theory and Practice workbook. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website if you visit sharonbill.com. There are some free PDF information sheets like this. They're available in US letter or A4 and they'll accompany each step of this series. On my website there's also a page which links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can also access information about the books I have available if it is that you're working to actually taking this exam. I've written a book, How to Take Your ABRSM Music Theory exam, and it's full of tips and techniques on how to best prepare for your exam and also how to best make use of the time when you're sitting in the exam room and taking the paper. So if you visit sharonbill.com, it's all there. If you can give me a like, that would be fab, and subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's loads more to come. Even though we're coming towards the end of this book, there's still loads to come. So let's get cracking, and we're now going to be working through the general exercises. I've referred to these in the title as section M, and we're looking at the first general exercise. This is M part 1. Here we go. And I suggest that you use these general exercises as a point of revision. I'll just put M there. There we go. So use these as a way of finding out what it is that you know and what it is that you don't know. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you clues as to where to find the information. So do look up any information that you don't know and use this as a way of finding out where the gaps in your knowledge are. And so I'm going to quickly run through and tell you where to look up, because bear in mind all of these questions will be dealing with information from grades 1, 2 and also grade 3. And so exercise 1, which is talking about a key signature, we need to look at grade 3 section F to find that answer. The time signature is grade 3 section E. The loudest note that you're looking for, really the answer is found once you've looked ahead in grade 1 section Q. Okay, in which bars are the notes tied? So that's grade 1 section H. It's asking us what we notice about the pitch of the highest and the lowest note. Now, as this is a section on pitch, this is making sure you've got your clefs and your notation right. So that's found in grade 1 section E. So now we're looking at the meanings of these different performance terms. And so really we can be looking in grade 1 section Q, grade 2 section I, and grade 3 section L. All of those can be found in a mixture of those three sections. Okay, the intervals, and so this can be found in grade 3 section J. Tonic triad refers first of all to what you learned in grade 1 section O, and then you reapply that information to the extra topics you've learned in this grade. Now, transposing bars up an octave was first mentioned in this grade, so grade 3 section D. So everything you need to know can be found there. So I suggest you press pause, take your time and work through that. Always write in pencil, it doesn't matter if you get it wrong, you can always try again. And then I'll go through this and you can double check your answers once you've had a go yourself. So I'm hoping that you've had a go of that, and so let's press on and try this together now. So the key is A flat major, and it's asked us to add the key signature where required. So the key signature comes after the clef, it goes clef, key, time, and the key signature is B flats, E flats, A flats, D flats, and we need to place those in bass clef positions, which is there. add the time signature where required. Now before we can do that, we need to work out which our bottom number is, what unit beat are we counting in. And all of these bars are quite tricky, and so let's jump ahead to bar 7, and that gives us the easiest way of finding the time signature. Now we can't be counting in a crotchet beat or quarter notes where the bottom note is 4 because we've got 1.5 crotchets or quarter notes there. We'd have to count in quaver beats, and that would be 1, 2, 3 quaver beats. So the time signature is 3/8. Okay, so looking through the next question, which is the loudest note? So we've got to check here in our performance directions. Now P isn't the loud part. However, here F is forte. We found that in grade 1, and so it's the loudest note, and actually you need to know which clef it is as well. So there's middle C, D, E. So really I guess as well that's also grade 1, E as well for your bass clef. So it's E, but remember it's E flat because of your key signature, and it's bar 7. Get a long line there to write a very short answer. In which bars are the notes tied? So let's look ahead. Now this is making sure that you don't get confused between a slur. That's a tie. So bar 2, that's a slur. That's a tie. So bar 4, and that's it. Bars 2 and 4. What do you notice about the pitch of the highest and the lowest notes? So let's have a look. The highest note is this E flat that we noticed earlier. Just glance through and find what the lowest note is. Oh, do you know, I must go back to question 1. We have to add the key signature on both lines, don't we? There we go, oops-a-daisy. The time signature only goes at the beginning, but the key signature needs to go on every line. The highest and the lowest note. So there's our highest note. Let's look what the lowest note is. Here and here. So we've got this one and this one. Now this one is an E natural. This one is an E flat. So this is even lower than E natural. And if you'll think about it, they're an octave apart. So we've got a low E flat and a high E flat. So we need to say they are the same note, an octave apart. I suppose you could elaborate and say E flat there, an octave apart. That's the bit that they're after, they're an octave apart. So these terms now are a mixture of all the things that we've covered so far. Andante is in grade 1, and that tells us it's at a walking pace or a steady pace. At a walking pace. Con is a linking word that means with, and moto is motion. So we've just sort of clarified what tempo we're taking this in. Okay, let's move on. So this was first mentioned in grade 1. This is our metronome marking. In grade 1, however, this was a crotchet. We were counting in crotchet beats, whereas now we can advance this to the times that we've used in grades 2 and 3. So this now means 92 quaver beats per minute. There we go. Dolce is that performance term for sweetly. It's just finding ways to remember this. I always remember it's a bit silly really, but dolce sounds like sweet little dolly to me, so that's how my brain works. Okay, name the interval between the last 2 notes in bar 6. So here we go. We've got an A flat to a C. So we know it's a 1, 2, 3, a third. And our lowest note is A flat, so we're thinking in terms of A flat major. An A flat major would have a C natural in its key signature, so that's appropriate and that's a major third therefore. So it's a major third. Draw a circle around 3 notes next to each other that belong to the tonic triad. They've been very helpful here and reminded you that the key is A flat major. And we first learned in grade 1, section O, that the tonic triad is the first, the third and the fifth note of the scale. So if the first is A flat, the third is C, and the fifth is E flat. So we're looking at those 3 notes next to each other. It may not necessarily be in that order, but we're looking for an A flat C E. And here we go, not in exactly the right order. We've got an E flat, an A flat and a C. So they are notes of the tonic triad all next together right at the beginning. Don't think there's any more examples, but there, we've done that anyway. No, I think that's it. And so the last question, transpose the first 4 bars as far as the note marked with a star. So we're starting from here and we're going to here. So I'll just mark that off so we know exactly where we're going. But they've asked us to transpose it up an octave into treble clef. So if you remember, we must always take middle C as our anchor point. It's going to have to keep shuffling up and down. So here, if you think there's middle C, and at present we're on the E below middle C, and so to transpose it up an octave we're going to be on the E above middle C. If we add all of the key signature and so on, all the accidentals and key signature will now be translated without too much thought. We're in treble clef, so let's do that right. B flats, E flats, A flats, D flats on both lines. B flats, E flats, A flats, D flats, and we want a time signature of 3, 8. So I'm just going to mark out the bar lines, and so if you try and keep things reasonably aligned, just keep glancing to the top of the page so you can kind of see where you're going. In the exam, what they'll do is they'll put this right next to the extract that you need to copy to help you. But I'm going to try and keep it aligned exactly as they have done, and then we're stopping here anyway. So at present we're on the E flat below middle C, and we need to go to the E flat above middle C, and so that will be there. And now we need to go up 4 notes to the A, and then this is middle C in the bass clef, so an octave higher will be the C above, and so we know we're in the right place here. So we can repeat that note if you're glancing at your copy. Down a step, and you'll notice taking us down a step gets us back to here, and so you know that you've not gone wrong. Up 3 back to that C, and then now we're going down 5 to the F. You notice 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. Tie that. Now because the stems are going to be going the other way, the tie will be this way because we've now come low down in the treble clef rather than high up in the bass clef. And then we're up 3 notes but with a natural sign. Next door note which is the C, and so we know we're still in the right place. Next door note, down a step. All of these are dotted rhythms. Back to the D, and now we're going down a 5th to the G, and then up a 3rd to the B, and now the note that we started on was the E flat up an octave, and now we've got that same pitch but with a natural sign, so we know we're going to go back to here. There's our E above middle C now, up a 3rd, And then the last note they've asked us to do here is middle C, which is up 4. And if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, takes us to C, an octave higher. So we know we've done that correctly. So now all we've got to do is add all of the stems. So they are semiquavers or 16th notes with a dotted rhythm. I think I'll use a ruler for this big long one. Now the stems are going to have to come down. We're beginning and ending in the same place, and so we'll keep that bottom line straight. There's no diagonal needed. So they are all semis or 16th notes, and then these are dotted. That's slurred. That's got a staccato. That's slurred. So you've just got to now put all the details in. You need to do as much as you can to justify these marks in an exam. Don't give them any reason to deduct any marks. So always try and do as much as you can to scrape every point possible. So these are dotted rhythms. And then here we're going just down slightly, so I'll reflect that in the stems, just with a bit of a diagonal. All of these are semis or 16th notes, and then we add the dotted rhythms there. I've chosen to go down there because that can go either way. These all need to go down, and so I've kind of outvoted those. And then to finish, we'll flip the stems up. And that one can come down. Dotted rhythm. Slurred. Get all these slurs in place. No thinking now really, just lots of careful copying. So we'll have andante con moto, and we want P, which remember is quiet or softly. Dolce, we've already answered that. And I think I've got all the articulation marks in, and so that's what your answer should look like. So use these as an opportunity to catch up on things that you've perhaps found difficult. Please do look up the answers and make most use of these final exercises to get to grips with everything fully. I do hope that's been helpful to you. If you can give me a like, that'd be fab, and subscribe to my channel. There's loads more to come. I hope you're enjoying this. I hope this is helping you. Please do go to sharonbill.com. There's lots there for you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.